Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Rennick, the Sector Manager for Construction at ESP. We have 4 speakers on this afternoon. I would just like to introduce them. We have Pilar Rodriguez, Programme Manager for Sustainable Energy Supply Chain at Energy Savings Trust. We also have Kelly Nugent, Senior Procurement Specialist at Scotland Excel. We have Wendy Finlay, Programme Manager, STEM at ESP. And also, finally, Juliet Mallis, Programme Manager for Construction at ESP. Enjoy your event. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming along. I'm delighted to be here today. Scotland's COP26 is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make things right and ensure there is a future for current generations and generations to come. My name is Pilar Rodriguez. I manage the Sustainable Energy Supply Chain Programme at Energy Savings Trust. Funded by the Scottish Government, the programme provides free, impartial and practical support to businesses working in the energy efficiency, heating installations and microgeneration sectors. Our aim is to ensure installers offer high-quality services to householders and businesses in Scotland, regardless of their location. Now more than ever, it is key to have a supply chain ready to deliver on the decarbonisation ambitions of the Scottish Government's heat and building strategy. By 2030, 50% of homes in Scotland will need to convert to zero or low carbon emissions heating systems, and all homes will need to reach EPC Band C equivalent by 2035. This will create a tremendous challenge for the current supply chain, but also a great economic opportunity for them, with up to 24,000 jobs that could be supported each year to transition to zero emissions heat. We need to come together, we need to work collaboratively if we are to succeed in this climate crisis. We have been working with ESP to fill in the gaps and connect the dots. With funding from the Scottish Government, we developed the Capital Investment Fund, through which colleges in the north of Scotland got funding to buy training rigs for energy efficiency and low carbon technologies, so they could provide training locally and generate high quality jobs in their communities. With funding as well from the Scottish Government, we work in partnership with ESP and the colleges to provide a grant for heating engineers to get upskill on heat pumps. We are currently working with ESP to ensure that we support the construction, energy efficiency and microgeneration sectors to be ready for the challenges that present to heat our buildings with technologies that will not harm the climate and secure a future to us all. I truly believe that we can achieve net zero by 2045, not just in Scotland, but across the world, if we start working from today together, collaboratively, and more importantly, not leaving anyone behind. This is an opportunity to transition to a sustainable economy, a new way of living, and a fairer society for all of us. Let's do it together. Thank you for listening.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank you for coming along to listen to today's session. I'm Kelly Nugent, Senior Procurement Specialist at Scotland Excel, currently managing the Energy Efficiency Contractors framework. I truly believe that procurement can be a vehicle to drive policy, skills and quality within the supply chain. However, in order to do this, collaboration is key, particularly as we move forward to achieve an ambitious net zero target. When developing our frameworks, we not only work together with our members to ensure that the procurement strategy meets their needs, but we also engage with other key stakeholders who can inform the development to ensure it meets policy objectives and the needs of the market. Our Energy Efficiency Contractors Renewal framework is fundamental to achieve the Scottish Government's key policy objectives of attaining the net zero target by 2045. Its social and environmental policy objectives are at its core to support our members to tackle fuel poverty and reduce carbon emissions and aid a green recovery. Our Renewal framework has been designed to accommodate the variety of energy efficiency measures required to furnish our members with the capability to provide full house retrofitting to existing housing stock, and has also incorporated a professional services lot. The significantly expanded scope will promote competition and enable both large and small contractors the opportunity to continue to bid for works reflective of their expertise. When awarded, Scotland Excel will continue to work in collaboration with contractors, our members, Scottish Government and ESP to review the quality of works, policy guidance and how we can support the supply chain in attaining the qualifications set out within the Energy Skills Matrix. Scotland Excel have been working in collaboration with the ESP to look at how the supply chain can be better equipped to cope with the demand in the coming years. A large part of this will focus on improving the quality and skills within the industry. So far, the collaboration has allowed us to identify skills gaps within the market, which has helped shape ESP's college curriculum in a bid to bridge this gap, with a key objective of building quality workforce that will help Scotland towards its net zero target by 2045. To summarise, the collaboration of working with key agencies such as ESP and the Scottish Government has assisted Scotland Excel to develop a renewal framework by embedding quality and skills requirements that will drive net zero targets by 2045. Scotland Excel recognises that we have an existing workforce that is highly experienced that will support a green recovery and drive quality within the sector. We look forward to seeing the expansion of new jobs, which will include new entrants, the upskilling of experienced workers, as well as new opportunities for apprentices, an excellent opportunity for our future workforce. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this session.
Hi, I'm Wendy Finlay. I'm ESP's Programme Manager for STEM. ESP has been involved in Scotland's STEM strategy since its inception and is a member of the STEM Strategy Steering Group, who identified very early on that Scotland needed a regional approach to STEM because the skills requirements in the Highlands and Islands are not the same as those in Glasgow and Edinburgh. The colleges were identified as being ideal to help coordinate these partnerships because they already had established links to local industry and to their local schools. As well as the colleges on the partnerships, there are universities developing the young workforce who also have good industry links but now have coordinators in every secondary school, the local authorities and regional improvement collaboratives, STEM learning through CERC, science centres, and most importantly, Education Scotland, whose regional STEM officers and primary science development officers can advise on what will and won't work in schools. If it's a new activity, they can also help to align it with a curriculum so that it can be more easily adopted by teachers. The 13 leads get together quarterly with the Scottish Funding Council at a meeting chaired by ESP to highlight what their challenges are, but also to share best practice. If an activity has worked well in one region, it doesn't take much adaptation to be implemented in another region so that it can be more easily adopted by teachers. The 13 leads get together quarterly with the Scottish Funding Council at a meeting chaired by ESP to highlight what their challenges are, but also to share best practice. If an activity has worked well in one region, it doesn't take much adaptation to be implemented in another region. Examples of some of the activities are shown here, whether it's a science and engineering fair such as STEM at the Helix or Big Bang, Subs in Schools, which is an underwater robot build, Green Power, where young people design, build and race an electric car, or an activity such as the IET's First Lego League, where young people learn to work as a team, they learn presentation skills, they learn planning, and they also learn coding, but in a fun environment. So I'm just going to show a short video now so you kind of get an idea and a feel for a STEM event.
This kind of thing gets kids like so excited about learning, and I just love it. It's great, massively inspiring.
The buzz about the place is amazing. It's great to get involved and to see what's going on. It's amazing what the kids can do. It's amazing, you know, what they pull out the hat. It's a really great vibe. It's a really worthwhile day.
It's an absolute amazing time in my life.
It was really fun to design it and make the models. I mainly enjoyed the innovation project and like also getting to know other people and working with other people. Yeah. So I really enjoyed also the innovation project, the robot game, so programming like all the missions and getting to know more people.
Today it's been absolutely fantastic. Great innovation, great out of the box thinking from all the kids here. Fantastic atmosphere, absolutely second to none.
So like all STEM activities, the First Lego League is innovative, it's inspiring, and most importantly, it's amazing. But we can't deliver any of these activities without support from the wider partnership, whether that's industry STEM ambassadors or organisations such as the Institution of Civil Engineers, whose Bridge to Schools activity can be seen here. Young people get together and build a replica of the Queen's Ferry Crossing, and they're assisted by STEM ambassadors from the construction and civil engineering industry who take the opportunity to talk about their roles and hopefully to inspire some young people into similar careers. The partnerships also have access to resources that can be shared with schools, such as the MTA kit that you can see here, which can be used to build a number of different things, whether it's a wind turbine or a rubber band powered car. But why do we do STEM activities? So to use construction as an example, between now and 2025, the industry needs another 26,250 new workers, and that's at all levels. That includes 350 civil engineers, 800 people in electrical trades, and 650 labourers. So in order to plug these gaps, we have to be informing and inspiring the next generation into these careers. To summarise in a quote by Carl Sagan, he died in 1996. But what he said is just as relevant today. Technology is moving so quickly that today's 12-year-olds will do jobs that don't even exist yet. So it's absolutely critical that we inform and inspire not only young people, but the parents and teachers who will influence them. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Juliet Mallis, Programme Manager for Construction at ESP. I'm delighted to be offered the opportunity today to explain the response from Scotland's colleges in the drive to net zero. Since the launch of the Scottish Government's Energy Efficient Route Map, Scotland's colleges have embraced opportunities to drive skills in green jobs. They have participated in activities working with Scottish Government, sector skills agencies, industry and communities to deliver key training opportunities. To support the demand from industry and government for more training, ESP have coordinated a national capital investment programme for the colleges. In 2019, we were awarded £500,000 from Scottish Power Energy Network's Green Economy Fund to deliver new energy efficiency and renewables training centres in Scotland's colleges. This flagship education project supported 9 new centres with investment in capital equipment. The technologies with the largest investment aligned to Scottish Government priorities in the transition to net zero. These include air source and ground source heat pumps, which will realise an increase in installations in Scotland from 6,000 to 60,000 per year to meet the demand for net zero carbon, and insulation, where the focus is to upskill the existing workforce to meet the demand due to the size and scale of the insulation tenders. The project was launched in June this year. However, whilst most centres are up and running, some are still under development due to COVID restrictions. The centres are geographically spread across the Central Belt, covering the Spen region. In 2020, ESP received substantial funding from Scottish Government to support capital investment in North Scotland colleges, and the project will achieve 4 new or upgraded training centres. Including electric vehicle charging training rigs complements what was already on offer to the energy sector and may act as a catalyst for raising awareness of the potential for electric vehicle suitability in the Highlands and Islands, adding to the opportunities for tourism in these areas. The collaboration and partnership between colleges has been changing over the years, and it is the strength behind the success of these projects. Subject experts from all colleges formed the Energy Efficiency Training Network to share best practice, develop partnerships and offer CPD to their peers. The network will continue to work together in the just transition to net zero. The colleges involved will continue to upgrade the facilities when new technologies are developed, ensuring their sustainability. The maps show the 200% increase in the number of centres for energy efficiency training in Scotland. However, they also highlight the gap in more rural areas. ESP have an ambition to deliver a mobile unit as a solution for rural colleges, or colleges full to capacity. The rig will be a resource for upskilling, reskilling, awareness events, school STEM projects and also industry training in their own workplace. These projects also cemented key industry partnerships for Scotland's colleges. ESP is continually focused on upskilling college staff in line with government priorities. Since 2011, we have facilitated training and continuing professional development in current and emerging technologies, as well as supporting overall curriculum development, and we have a plan for 2022 to offer further staff training. This investment will position Scotland's colleges at the centre of upskilling programmes and increase both commercial and curriculum activity for the colleges. ESP and Scotland's colleges will continue to work alongside Scottish Government's strategy to set out the mechanisms for moving us as a nation towards a zero emissions future for heating our buildings, reducing demand for heat and decarbonising our supply, and making Scotland's homes and buildings warmer, greener and more efficient. Thank you for your time today. We will now see a short video of the new training centres.
Welcome back everyone, and can I just say thank you to all our speakers this afternoon. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I think it's been quite enlightening, quite encouraging, and it's hopefully a positive place to move on from. I've picked up a number of things from the various sessions. The energy transition is the most obvious area to focus on. Provides an excellent example of collaborations and partnership action in support of the climate emergency and the just transition to net zero. SOEC itself is an excellent example for me, where we draw on developers, supply chain, innovation, barriers and skills, all with leads working together on a collective response to maximise the economic opportunities from the offshore wind sector. Also links in with the wider piece and the UK work, linking in with the Energy Skills Alliance and the UK Investment and Talent Group, and that whole joined up piece presents a bit of a case study to take forward. Manufacture is a bit of a different beast, focus on digital skills, but also how we can build and design and materials and resources into products. The low carbon transport, for me, has presented an excellent example as well around aligning policy and skills. Transport Scotland have been really good in supporting ESP and colleges and developing the whole capability and capacity and curriculum. The IMI have been supportive with the resources, and ESP, my team, have done a great job in working with colleges, developing the curriculum and resources, shared resources, the CPD for college staff, and it's quite a comprehensive piece that's going on across Scotland. So it's some definite lessons to be learnt there. The energy efficiency piece for me has been Energy Efficient Scotland, has been quite a best practice example where skills was embedded in policy from the outset and considered in that in the policy, and it's really allowed the colleges and industry to work in partnership, informed by government policy, to develop that capability and capacity in advance of demand. And that's a key thing for me, is that being ready in advance of demand. There are a number of cross-cutting themes, I think, that have come through as well. We need to raise awareness of the climate emergency, of the changes in work roles, job roles, and how we can take this forward, and developing the attitudes and changing attitudes and behaviours. I think one thing that's become quite clear is everybody in every job has a role to play in this, and we just need to work with that. Inspiring the future workforce is key, but a lot of that will be people who are already in industry and in work. So we need to support individuals and companies in transitioning across into net zero or low carbon technologies if we're going to address the climate change piece. And the Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan is really allowing people to focus, pull together and coalesce and really ensure that we are working together and breaking down barriers. And for me, that's, if we get this right, it's going to really make a big difference in pulling together and maximising that opportunity for Scotland. Some key messages from me that I've picked up on a number of occasions. I've heard we're actually in a really good place. So we shouldn't be too negative. Us Scots tend to be quite negative about things, but we are actually in a really good place. There's a lot of really good work going on, a lot of really good relationships that have been developed, and everyone seems to be focused on this agenda, and that's from youngsters in schools right through to those in their latter years. But industry, individuals, so we're in a really good place, and COP26 is giving a real focus for us at this stage to really seize it by the horns and drive it forward. So there's an urgency to take to this. We can't hold back. We need to accelerate activity, developing the skills for us, and making sure that industry have these skills to support individuals, to support thinking of low carbon transport, rural dimension. How do we ensure that people don't have any barriers with infrastructure, with maintenance, etc. So we've got some really good foundations in place, as I've said, with the relationships that are ongoing. We really need to engage early with policy. I think that's one of the really key pieces for me, that earlier skills are considered in any new policy really eases things for the future. So a plea to me to government and agencies would to be actually consider the skills from the outset of any policy intervention that's coming through. From a delivery side, from a provider side, we need to develop the capability and capacity in advance of demand. And the college sector, private providers can't do that in isolation. We need to invest in advance of any commercial opportunities that may come out of this, and that's a hard sell when budgets are really tight. So we need to provide adequate support for individuals, for companies, for colleges, to really incentivise the development of that capability and capacity, and actually support companies and individuals financially to invest in these skills in advance of a real business return. But that return will come, but in the meantime we can't hold back. We just need to get on with things and pull it together. And the colleges, for me, have done a fantastic job. Me and my team at ESP have been really encouraged by the work that's gone on with colleges, and the team have been helping to establish formal training networks around all the emerging technologies that are there. So again, we are actually in a really good place. My one plea is that we can't do this in isolation. Nobody can do this in isolation. We are working very well in partnership. There's some really powerful pieces going on, but we just need to make that a bit better. And I do think we need to coalesce around the Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan, and everybody pull together and not duplicate, not run parallel or develop parallel interventions. The Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan really gives us an opportunity to focus all our attentions to get the best impact for Scotland, and to help us minimise the impact of climate change and help accelerate our reduction of greenhouse gases, and help us meet our carbon commitment targets, and Scottish Government meet their carbon commitment targets. So we're all in this together. Let's pull together. I think this afternoon has been a fantastic number of speakers and content. So I'd just like to thank everybody again for their contributions. It's not easy doing this in the way it's been done, and hopefully we'll be together at the next conference face to face. Thank you very much. Take care, and we will see you in the future.